Hey everybody, sorry about that. And I apologize if I lost a few of you, but bear with me because I wanted to be able to access my pictures and whatnot. But hey, what's up? Yeah, sorry I lost you guys. But yeah, Sabine was talking about, okay, you wanted to see how crazy our... Now, what do you guys see here? Remember, I've shown this before. This came flying by. Yeah, I'm back on DU Recorder now. I'm on so I can share my pictures and stuff. But what I was talking about is Sabine was... What's up, buddy? What's up, Menza? I'm glad you guys are here. I make nothing off of what I do here. I do this just because it's something for me to do, and I learn from everybody just like, everybody learns from everybody. I mean, this is my outlet as far as ascension, information goes. And, it started out my channel, Get Her Done. My channel started out as a, what's up, Paul from Newcastle? I'm glad you're back. As a Nibiru channel. And oddly enough, Nibiru is the same as the story of Noah's flood, is the same story as the Exodus from Egypt, is the same story as every story in the Bible. I mean, every story is the same story. Now, Nibiru is the place of the cross. Wow, it just jumped to 10. Holy cow. Who's all here? That's weird. It said 1 or 2 and then all of a sudden jumped to 10. But Sabine was talking... What's up? What's up, Deborah? How are you? Joyce, are you serious? What's up? I'm glad you're here. Now, Sabine was talking about... Now, I postulate, or I say that everything is and of the one thing. We are all striving to get back to the singularity of the one, which is all of us, because we are all parts of the one. That's why everything is a spiral. That's why everything is a, What's up? What's up, Paula? Who tested positive, Paula? And you're not of the company of saying it's fake now, right? Somebody last night... What's up, Free Press 666? I'm glad you're here. But yeah... You notice how everything is a spiral, just like I was showing you guys earlier that, on the YouTube stream, that, the spiral is, I miss this dude. He's my buddy. Miss this guy. Yeah, I don't know if you were saying it was fake, but you were, that's very good, P Turtle. A good friend, I clean house for his ex-wife's boyfriend tested positive for CV-19. Yes. Yes, runk hugs. I miss the runky monkey very much. But Prayers will be there. Duality gives contrast to unity. Yes, duality provides. Now, duality, the ultimate duality, is the infinite in the finite, and that's what we are. We are an infinite fractal of the ineffable in the finite realm. Because all of creation is finite. We are born finite. We will die finite. We are, in essence, from the one source energy, which is I don't pretend to know anything. I just what I convey is what I have learned. I wish I knew everything, but I don't know everything. U.S. National Library of Medicine says 80% of tests give a false positive result. See, I haven't even gone down the rabbit holes of the COVID thing. I just know that, I'm going to try to keep my little neck of the woods clean and healthy. Yes, we operate, all we have is contrast and understanding. Correct. I agree with that. Now, the ultimate duality is the yin and the yang, the finite in the infinite, or the infinite in the finite. That's the squaring the circle. Without the infinite meat suit, the hero's journey could not take place, and the light could not be recreated. Now, the light of the world is the Son of God, the Son of Man, which Tanzania used tests on a goat and a fruit, and they tested positive. Right. But yeah, all the stories from your terrain makes up if you have waste in your system. What does that mean? All consciousness is one consciousness. It is the Son. The Son, the Son of Man, the Son of God is the only begotten. It is what the Bible talks about as far as Jesus. It is what we consider Lucifer as well, or the demiurge from the Gnostics, or the Yaldabaoth from the Gnostics. What other name did it have? Demiurge, Yaldabaoth, or Ouroboros. What else? I saw and shared that video from Tanzania. See, I don't. What's up, John? How you doing, Zoo? I know that I don't know. Yeah, right. But the fact of all of the Bible in the allegory, in the convoluted how we consider everything in a literal personified sense, meaning that the one pure thing that reaches earth daily is the sun's light. And yes, what's up, Gary Baxter? I'm glad you're here, bud. We all are, everything living has consciousness and is the sun. Well, everything is light, yes. The light is what everything is. I mean, the light, the initial light in the dark is what causes the Anu to appear, which is, the Anu is the mechanism, this is what I think, the mechanism in which energy is transformed into matter. Because there's a point in which the spin that the Anu, or the black hole, quote unquote, or the plasmoid center, or whatever you want to call it, there's a point in which the energy reaches a certain joules or gigawatt, or whatever the hell you want to call it, kilojoules, or whatever they call it, and it manifests matter. It's the 0 point, correct? Yes, the plasmoid. Now, it was 101 degrees there, huh? Wow. Well, it's like 35 degrees here right now. It's supposed to start snowing. Ouch. Ouch, I bet you that hurt. Okay, now, yes, in Buddha yoga, the 0 point is the null point, that is what gravity is. That is what we are. That is our counterspatial negative image of us. It's it's our it's what pulls us to ourselves. Fall into yourself, or that every planet, every person, everything has traveling east. What's up, Ryan? In Interstate 40 through Greensboro, North Carolina, I just saw a huge green fireball meteor. Really? What keeps buffering a lot? The stream? But we all live in a yellow submarine. What if I say our microwave background is our event horizon? In the past 2 months, no one has died of anything but COVID-19. All other diseases went away. Right. We are all just salmon being pulled home without knowing. Well, this would explain how how we could go from the edge of the Milky Way galaxy in 1985, I believe it was, to 26,000 light years closer to the center within how many years is that? I'd rather not even talk about the CV thing, you guys. I really wouldn't, because we all know it's there. What good is it gonna do us if we just continue to kick the horse? You know what I mean? What good will it do us to go down rabbit hole after rabbit hole, other than distract us and keep us from the work we need to do? And the work we need to do is within every one of us. Yes, I seen that. I did see that. I did see that. I did see that. I think, what's his name? The dude who says, "Hey, wonderful persons," what the math guy? What's his name? He's pretty good guy. I watch his YouTube channel. But the 1,000 light years away, there's one in Orion. The Barnard's Loop that emanates out of Orion's Nebula is... Here, I'll show you. The Barnard's Loop is where... Yeah, Anton Petrov. Yes. I've been taking vitamin D and... Okay, now you see this spiral right here around Orion's Nebula. And the Orion is in the shape of a hyperboloid. The inverse of the toroid, which is the hourglass. The reciprocating precessional hyperboloid, which is the magnetic field, right? And, the Barnard's Loop right here, this pink stuff around NGC 1981, that's kind of odd too, is... Yes, I've been taking B12 too. Is, what's up, Delaney Delight Jones? When you get sick, yeah. Okay, now, the beautiful thing about this is that the Barnard's Loop emanates from the nebula, okay? And if you follow the trajectory, it is where our solar system was born. Now, we all know that the nebulas of the cosmos are where our planets are born. Now, hourglass is perfect analogy. Past is top, present is 0 point, future is bottom sand. Very good. That's a good analogy. Yes, vitamin D. And somebody jumped on me about talking about race and saying race has nothing to do with ascension, and it wasn't me who said that. I just stated what Dr. Campbell on YouTube talks about, how vitamin D deficient is a immune system inhibitor. You know, if you don't have enough vitamin D in your body, you will get sick more often. You know, if you're deficient, you will get sick. And but the hourglass, the hyperboloid is the same as the apple core, you know, of an apple. You know, it is the structure of. That's why I say that our event or our microwave background is our event horizon, because that is why we see everything as a belt. You know, as in the Kuiper belt, as an ecliptic plane, as an accretion disk, as a I'm back. I lost power. Oh, what's up, Mac? Or John. But yeah, check this out now. Now this is the spiral. This is gonna be a little fast here. Okay, now we're gonna look up. Now here's the spiral of how we travel through space. Right? Do you see it? There, we're chasing the sun right now. Zoom, the wheel within a wheel. But anyway. Yes, we're time traveling. We're in 2026 right now. The one secret to stay motivated during tough times. You know, I don't know if you guys follow all those swamis and all that, but but you guys remember when I was talking about December or January 13th, 1/13/2020? Remember when I was talking about that for a year? And we couldn't figure out why? What was coming? Isn't it odd that this is happening? You know, all of this. You know, but I say that this is an opportunity for all of us to go within. So they say, Steve. They, right. So they say. Right. But I didn't want to fearmonger back then, and I don't want to now, you know, because what good is it going to do? What good will it do us if we go down rabbit hole after rabbit hole? Because at the end of every rabbit hole, where do we end up? At a position saying, now what? Correct? Now what? Okay, now it's Sagittarius. Where's Sagittarius pointing his arrow, guys? Does anybody know? Where's Sagittarius pointing his arrow? I think I gotta set a different setting here. Let's see, asteroids. Where's the meteor showers, guys? Sagittarius. Where is he pointing his arrow? Right at the center of the galaxy. Why is that? You end up pulling back foreskin. End of a rabbit hole is usually where rabbits poop. Right. They, them. Right. I disagree. It's best to be informed as much as you can be on current issues so you can make an informed choice if it comes to it. Now, if you can say the name and event, it's not a rabbit hole. It's a factoid. I'm not saying that, for you guys not to go down rabbit holes. I'm just saying that every time I end up down a rabbit hole and I get down to the end of it, it's now what? 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 I'm not saying bury your head in the sand. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying, just accept whatever comes your way, no matter where it's coming from. There is a point in which you reach where you realize that all pertinent information is already within you. It is already there for you to tap into. It is called the Akashic. It is called the consciousness of all. It is called the collective. It is called the the ether. You know what I mean? Are we being sucked into a black hole? I don't know, but it seems to me that there is a propensity towards the center of all things. I do remember us being on the edge of the Milky Way galaxy, in this on the Sagittarius arm. Yeah, oddly enough, now we are on the broken Orion spur. Learn, then know, then apply. Yes. I do collect many perspectives, and, I have been down every rabbit hole that you could think of. But I do know that the biggest rabbit hole is within us. The hole within is the hole within. We are flying at light speed towards a black hole. Yes, we are standing on the event horizon. This is our event horizon. Correct. I agree with that. I agree with that. Now, if we confuse in deviate from what's within us and keep looking out, because think of this now. Like I was getting to earlier, Sabine Hasenfelder, or whatever her name is, she's a oh, really? I didn't know DeGrasse Tyson. Huh. Yes, don't scatter. Thank you, yoga. That's what I'm trying to articulate here. Is the arrows of aspiration. You're supposed to aspire towards enlightenment. Be focused. Don't scatter your energies. Knowing is the problem. You cannot know here. You can only compare and contrast perspective. Knowing does not exist here. Such a terrible word, so misleading. There is a saying of all sayings, know thyself. And that is what we are here to do, is know thyself. Because knowing thyself means you know God. Because we are all parts of God. This is the only thing I know. You know what I mean? There is a point in which you let go of all of the knowing, all of the, caring what other people think, so forth. It seems like you think you know what you're talking about, P. Turtle. Is that not what you're saying you're against? You think you're saying that you know that there is nothing to know. Right? Sagittarius ruled by Jupiter, Zeus, Leosos, I don't know, hail Zeus in Vedas. How do you understand the knowing is impossible? How do you know that? Because you'd have to know that if you know that. You know what I mean? You get what I'm getting at here? I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying. Right. I got you. Right. To each their own. Yeah, I mean, everybody's path is going to be different. I cannot convince you of one thing that has happened to me that will steer you on the path to my redemption. Right? Is Greek for Yahshua, Jesus. Jesus is the Word of God made flesh, meaning that it is the light through the flesh, which is created with union with God. That's how I see it. And Jesus is a personification of it, right? It's the purpose. What's the purpose? Yes, the kingdom of God is within you. Yes, the word or vibration of God within us. It's the light. The vibration is the light, John. The light is the first perturbation in the darkness that caused the vibratory essence to be polarized, to create rhythm, to have the cause and effect, to create gender, which is the animal kingdom, the mineral kingdom, yada, yada, yada. And then to the pinnacle of the pineal event, which recreates the same thing that created it, the seed to seed. Christos raised chrism to crown chakra corona. Correct. Yes, I agree with that. And that's what this whole thing is about, I think. It's because we've not had the opportunity to study ourselves, I think the word came first, but yes, all is light. Well, yeah, the logos is the light, is the word, is Christ, is Jesus. It is. Now, the creator is separate from God, if you know what I mean. God has nothing to do in the creative sense of this manifestation that we are a part of, other than fathering with us, because God is the groom and we are the bride. All of physical creation is the bride. God inseminates us with truth. We have the aha pineal pinnacle moment of light burst in our head. The light turns on, the light's on, everybody's home, and boom, the light of the world is recreated. The word is a wave from a light we cannot see. Could very well be. That's what plasma is too, Everyone is the consciousness of Christ. All consciousness is the Son made to gain understanding in duality, to not know, because you cannot experience anything if you know and are everything. This is true. Okay, now I follow you. Now I follow you, P. Turtle. Now I follow you. I totally follow you now. I know what you're saying now. Yes, word, logos, universe, one wave. Yes, I agree with that. Now I follow you. What you're getting at, P. Turtle. Yes, the hero's journey is how we overcome the ego, the material, at the end of the day, we end up with the prize, which is eternal life. Now, you can know God and not know ascension. You know what I mean? So through your deeds, you can know God, and that's the two keys to heaven, right? The first key is seeing God, meeting God. That doesn't mean you're going to be free from the cycle, right? After you meet God. After you meet God, you have to have the understanding or the want to know more and become the seed to seed, the gateway, the second key to pleroma, which regenerates the creator. That I showed you guys in this picture when I seen that hieroglyph, when I seen that movie, The Star is Born, and I that hieroglyphic, which is, let me see if I can find it real quick here. But it's a pictograph of the Godhead. of how we recreate the light of the world within us in divine union or alchemical wedding with God, the ineffable, which is right here, this one. This right here is a picture of the because the baboons represent Thoth, which is consciousness, right? The 6 baboons, that's the 6th chakra, the brain, okay? The Ankh represents the creation cycle. The Queen's throne on top of Nephthys' head, and the chalice on top of Isis's head, right? These are the 2 brain lobes in equilibrium. The Jed pillar is, the same as the pyramid, right? And then we got the eyelids, the eyebrows. So this is the head, and the red sphere is the same as the wing disc, is the same as the cherry on top of the cake. This represents a wedding ring. This is where the wedding ring comes from. See the circle on the edge of the sphere? Then you got the cross. That's where the wedding ring comes from. This is Yaldabaoth. This is what the demiurge is in the Gnostics. I just showed you this spiral. It's everywhere, you guys. It's everywhere. The cross and circle combined is within us, right? Until you are with God and are back at one, you can only understand God. Right. Right. Unity is oneness, is knowing. Yes. Right. Now, I have been flooded with a bunch of questions as of late, as if God. Okay, now if Christ died for our sins, what's the meaning? P. Turtle, what do you think the meaning is of the story of Jesus died on the cross for our sins? Now, whether or not you believe there's a physical Jesus that died on the cross, I don't really subscribe to that idea, but I want to know what your opinion is. And in the allegorical story is Jesus died on the cross for our sins. What does that mean? Because the cross is actually the light itself. Jesus is the light itself, right? Love, yeah, love is the beginning and the end of all. Is the source connection to all. I mean, without love, no one doesn't. Because we all sin. Everyone does. So you're saying that the ultimate sin is creation. Well, Jesus is the light, the creator, is Yaldabaoth. Jesus is not a physical person. Right? Like Egypt is the ego. Egypt is the Exodus from Egypt is a story of us freeing ourselves of our ego, right? AI means love. What do you mean by that, Buddha? Or Buddha Yoga? What do you mean by that? I think the light means that, because everything is light, right? So the light is creation itself, correct? And I'm asking this question because Paula was asking me, and I really word in many languages. Jesus died for the sins because he loved you and everyone, and he tried to tell everyone that they are all him. They all have the kingdom of God in them like him. Well, him is an allegory or a what's up, Crystal? How you doing, sweetheart? I'm glad you're here. The dude on the cross is allegory for the cross. The cross is the light. Here, I got something to read right here. Okay. Right here. No, a dude died on the cross knowing he was Jesus. Well, maybe there was a dude named Jesus that died on a cross, but there are many levels of information tied, and he knew that we all are. Okay. Okay, here I'm gonna. Now in the Enuma Elish, we hear about how Marduk, the son of Enki, becomes king of the gods, in the same way as Abzu or Anu. The Wikipedia entry on this is also very telling and repeats what we have just established concerning Tiamat. Now, the Tiamat is Tiamat. You know, everybody thinks Tiamat is what Earth came from. You know, when it was split in half, right, in the war or whatever. In the epic, Enuma Elish names two primeval gods, Abzu, who represents fresh water, and Tiamat, representing oceanic water. Several other gods are created, Ea and his brothers, who reside in Tiamat's vast body. They make so much noise that the babble or noise annoys Tiamat and Abzu greatly. Abzu wishes to kill the young gods, but Tiamat disagrees. The vizier Mumu agrees with Abzu's plan to destroy them. Tiamat, in order to stop this from occurring, warns Enki, Ea, the most powerful of the gods. Ea uses magic to put Abzu into a coma and then kills him, and shuts Mumu out. Enki then becomes the chief god, marries Damkina, and has a son, Marduk, greater still than Enki himself. Marduk is given wind to play with, and he uses the wind to make dust storms and tornadoes. This disrupts Tiamat's great body and causes the gods still residing inside her to be unable to sleep. Now, in this, here is the same story of generation in the abyss, leading to the completion and reproduction of the original creator, who creates wind, effulgence, and tornadoes, galaxies, causing noise or movement. Things are happening. Now, this is what we were talking about with the noise or the word turning into light. When he is saying we all are, he is talking about we can all awaken the Christ consciousness. Correct. In the mystery schools of Egypt, people would choose a new name. Often it was Jesus. So maybe, but there was a king named Jesus. I'll write you a letter. You're not distracting. There are many levels of information. Yeah, it's all tied together. Correct. Now, the perturbation or the noise or movement, things are happening as if upsetting the peace in the abyss, disrupting Tiamat's cosmic body. The entry then says, the gods persuade Tiamat to take revenge for the death of her husband Abzu. Her power grows, and some of the gods join her. She creates 11 monsters. You know, venomous snakes, great dragon, exalted serpent, furious snake, hairy one, uh, big weather beast, mad lion, so on and so forth. Okay, to help her in the battle and elevate Kingu, her new husband, to supreme dominion. A lengthy description of the other gods' inability to deal with the threat follows. Marduk offers to save the gods if he is appointed their leader and allowed to remain so even after the threat passes. When the gods agree to Marduk's conditions, he is selected as their champion against Tiamat and becomes very powerful. Marduk challenges Tiamat to combat and destroys her. He then rips her corpse into two halves, with which he fashions the earth and the skies. Marduk then creates the calendar, organizes the planets and stars, and regulates the moon and sun and weather. Now, the 11 names listed are all associations with the king of gods, or the demiurge. The number 11 can be thought of as a new tree of life sprouting or growing from the completed tree 10 points. It's like the 12 and the 1. As in the case when the cosmic cycle begins anew. Kingu is elevated to prime position because he is the establishment of the creator, like Horus in the Egyptian myth of Heliopolis, right? He has completed the cycle and looped back to the perfection, just as Ra was worried to have his dominion overthrown by the production of Horus, so Kingu is overthrown by Marduk, who becomes king of the gods and rips Tiamat's body in half, or polarizes the cosmic ocean to create the calendar and regulate the sun, moon, and stars. And that's what I was talking about in the seven kingdoms, or the seven Hermetic principles, because we start off with the mentalism. Then we go to correspondence, which is the correspondence is the as above, so below, meaning that what is within me is also without me. And, then we go on to vibration, is where Tiamat, or Marduk challenges Tiamat and then, rips her into two, creating polarity, right? When anyone awakened the Christ consciousness, Christ will be added to the end of their name. Correct. And the Norse gods killed Lemur. He became the world as we know, and his skull is the sky and the stars. Right. Right. What's up, Smoking G Sharp? Right. So, yeah. But just as there were 7 tablets, so there are 7 Hermetic principles that may, at first glance, seem as though they have nothing to do with each other. Comparing the principles with the standard model of galactic development in the forms of kingdoms, we can start the principles with the on the human level, relating to the psyche that reproduces the creator. The first principle is mentalism, that which is behind the creator. The second principle is correspondence between creator and product, which is within me, is without me. Is in this sense, then vibration or sound in the primal ocean produces polarity. Solar systems and planetary life are rhythmic, creating a cause and effect system that generates gender. The spiritual union is when your body becomes a phallus, ejaculating us as spirit, when we are reborn from our mental effort, generating the great flood. You know what I'm saying? Yes, it is totally mental. Has to be 808, correct. Some call it the Ring of Fire. If you look at the Pacific tectonic plates, you will see Earth's scar from that. What are you talking about? But Apollon, like Shiva, is correct in saying that it's all within us. It's all a mental allegory. Likewise, in the book of Genesis, we have the 7 days of creation. That at first glance sounds fanciful and outdated. However, a closer examination of the text creation reveals the same scheme of kingdoms we find in the process theory. Now, all is process, right? All is this process, the 7 Hermetic principles, everything. Now, the scar from Tiamat's battle, see, now that's what I'm talking about, how everybody is stuck on what, in, because we all have to find reassurance as human beings, finite, in a physical manifestation. We all have to find stuff or evidence to back up what the stories are, correct? Now, the stories, to me, I was there. I was thinking Nibiru was a planet coming to get me, coming to kill us all, all of this. Now, this is where I'm not at now. I'm at the 7. Now, that is, it's manifested down to the days of the week, you guys. The days of the week are, we have 6 days of work, 1 day of rest. That 1 day of rest is when is Sunday. What is Sunday? When the sun is recreated. It's when we rest and recreate the Son of God, the Son of Man. Not in a physical sense, but in a pinnacle pineal event that ejaculates our soul into the cosmos. That's what Osiris represents. That's what the Great Pyramid of Egypt represents. In all of these, like right here, a closer examination of the text of creation reveals the same scheme of kingdoms, the 7 houses of the Lord, we find in the process theory. The issue for Christians is, in this particular case, is that they only read the books of the Old Testament in English, and in so doing, miss the deeper Hebrew recording. When it says God, or as Elohim, in the first verse of Genesis, it is referring to God thrice great, which involves the light of illumination as the creator, or fourth issue. This is why I changed my name to Slightly Slanted 3-4 or Sleuth 3-4 Truth. Is for this reason. Is because you should peruse the die-hold foundations I have. Yes, I have. I've looked at the die-hold foundations. He's a little on the physical aspect of everything and how everything is a talk on. Okay, now the first letter of the text of Genesis is said to contain the secret of the universe. If you don't understand it from seeing the first letter B, which means house, or the house of bread, inside 0, outside infinite, B, house, inside 0, / outside infinite. It is repeated as the first word of 6 letters, 6 kingdoms from the Creator. Again, the same thing is repeated in more detail as the first verse of 28 letters, complete cycle, and more so as the first chapter. It is the same thing repeated 4 times in every expanding detail. Now, that is where we get the first letter of Genesis is the letter B, which means house, in the sense of being inside as opposed to outside. In the text, then, it is taken as a saying in the next letter is R, which means head. The normal translation into English of these first 2 letters is in the head of, or in the beginning. However, a closer look at each letter of the first word gives us in B, the head, R is the Alpha and Omega, A, the crown, S of God, I is completion, T. This first word may also be taken to say created 6 or created a throne. All these readings are highly significant and appropriate, since the crown of illumination completes creation. The first letter B refers to the distinction between an inside and an outside, which is precisely what we have in physical reality as infinite space on the outside and singular definition on the inside. Fundamentally, we may take these 2 extremes as the 2 most fundamental issues of dimensionless heaven or monad and the bottomless ocean called the abyss, in which the only manifest issues are the cosmos and the light. Monad and infinite expanse are extreme opposites. You know, so that goes right back to the in between the how we the abyss was between fire and ice. Fire and ice came together in yeah, in the Norse tradition, right? Right? And it contains the original names. Blue shift, red shift, the creation of matter. What were you guys talking about here? This is the one that did it for me. What's the link for? It is the animation for what you were looking at. All right, I'll click that link later. House of Bread, Bethlehem. Yes, Yoga. Yes, you are totally correct. Totally correct. Aleph, ox, cross, inside the hole. Very good. Yes, that's how I see it. And in the Alpha and Omega is the beginning and the end, the first and the last, or the mother and the father, or you know the 1 and 13, or you know all of these things. They made it from drawing on the walls. What do you mean? Made what? It is the psyche that is emphasized in this case that becomes the creatures and humans of the earth. Let us make man in our own image. It is not specifically a reference to aliens creating humans. It is telling us about the nature of the human as the microcosm of the macrocosmic cosmos and its creative light, the Atman, cosmic man, from God thrice great. Yeah, or Stan Tenen. Stan Tenen is where I've learned most of the Hebrew alphabet and how it relates to the flame in the tent or the eye in the triangle. You know what I mean? That's and how there's a an embedded encoded message in everything. Tenon, amazing shadows depicting shapes, etc. Yes, yes, because all letters of the Hebrew alphabet are all shadows of the one shape, the house in the tent, or the flame in the tent, or the Maru, or yeah, I think yeah, what is it, Maru Institute, right? Now the seven kingdoms, the seven candlesticks, the seven houses of the Lord. We have 7 layers of heart muscle in our heart, right? We have your chalky bar. We must have lost some people that went over to the, Brian's channel, huh? But that's cool. 7 continents, 7 oceans, 7 days a week, all 777, all over the place, right? Yes, Meru Foundation, like Mount Meru. Yes, yes. On the day you were born, the stars and planets, or if you want, the gods and the angels imbued you with personality, physicality, or they made you. Yes. What's up, Deborah? How are you, sweetheart? 7 letters in each name, first, middle, and last. Wow, that's weird. I appreciate that, Menza. I appreciate that. But I mean, Brian's he's a good guy. He's got some good input too, I guess. But yeah, we got the Ark of the Covenant. We've got the in Babylon, a god was called Anunnaki, since it means Prince of Anu on Earth, or Skyfather on Earth, right? Because Anu means Skyfather. The title is 4 words glued together as a title. Anu is the father of life in the galaxy, referring to the creator. An is in the Nu as Anu. Nu is the waters of noon. The cosmic effulgence, or the unmanifest potential of the cosmic water. Dang it, I gotta pee. Love it. But Prince of Anu on Earth, the title, and this is... Now, when you recreate the Creator, you are elevated above it in spirit for the rest of your mortal life. You are a god, or child, Prince of Anu. The word Nun is embedded in the title and means fish and prince. You are a fish when born in spirit from water, to become the cosmos looking at its creator, and a prince that becomes a king when returned to the body. You are on earth, which is the Na key, on earth. Na means on. And the title Anunnaki then is not an alien, it is an illuminated spiritual being. We can all become Anunnaki, guys, through the great work, through the divine union, the alchemical wedding. We can all become Anunnaki, purse-bearing cosmic gardeners, if you will, coming forth by day. This is the according to ancient Egyptian myth of Heliopolis, Osiris was part of the pantheon of 9 gods known as the Ennead, who emerged from the chaotic primal waters of Nun, which were said to contain all necessary attributes for creation to occur. The god Atum, Atum, A-T-U-M, is said to have willed himself into existence by calling out his twin, Ra. Atum and Ra merged to become Adam-Ra, creator of order and the establishment of the truth. In geometric terms, Ra is the circle that is squared by Atum at galactic singularity. Atum is the diamond of manifest truth in the infinite abyss. The letters in the name Atum are numerically 1, 2, 3, and 4. In gematria, whose sum is the same 10 points, making the tree of life. Wow, I didn't realize that. 1, 2, 3, 4 equals 10. Wow, crazy. This means Atum is singular and the completed tree of life. And that's where we get the Adam from, of the Bible, is Atum, from the Egyptians. Atum Ra, the moon and the sun, right? In the personified physical sense. And as the creator of what is to come, from him extends a great tree, the cosmos, which forms branches on which grow stars and planets that grow life, extending up from the simplest mineral forms to the most accomplished rational being, effectively forming the original demiurge again. A rational human being can find the stillness center of all things and the singular truth, generating an eternal connection to the already extant abyss where the demiurge is found. The result of creation is the cause of creation. Now, the Adam and Eve, Atum and Rise, odd and even, yes. Yes, exactly. Atum Ra being singular in unification and self-creating, the product are then produced 2 gods called Shu, which is dry, and Tefnut, which is sky spit or moisture, forming a new trinity. In fact, these 2 gods represent the same codependent concept of duality as yin and yang concept in Taoism. Shu is the noise you make when you sneeze, hence Shu, as god of the wind. In the concept of effulgence, in terms of generating the cosmic effulgence, we can imagine radiant energy in modern terms as a dry wind. In the Sumerian epics, the god of wind was called Enlil. That's what Enlil means, in air. Lil means air. En means in. Yes, Adam originates from a certain spot in our history, and it's it's a shame that we have to give words two concepts now, where before we had concepts, four concepts. You know, we could communicate in conceptual terms instead of wording it. You know, as far Adama, there you go. Yes, but in modern terms, dry wind. The god of wind was Enlil. Tefnut literally means spit sky, pertaining to water. Hence, Tefnut is goddess of water, or the now moving cosmos made from the waters of the abyss. In the Sumerian epics, the god of water was called Ea, Enki, and that's why, you know, in earth. From the union of Shu and Tefnut came Geb, earth, and Nut, sky, another male and female duality, who were separated by Shu to stop their copulating. This brings us to the planetary level of creation before the appearance of creatures. The union of Geb and Nut then gives birth to 4 children, 2 males, 2 females, called Osiris, Set, and Isis and Nephthys. Osiris and Isis then had a son named Horus, which is the Sphinx, who is a magic bird that became liberated and risen like Ra, as Ra Harakti. Yes, that is from the Teletubbies. Yes, that is the Teletubbies. Adam, Atman, yeah, right. Right, you guys are right. Adam Ra, right. Yes, Teletubbies, the picture, yes. That big hug. Remember that? Big hug. The Ennead of 9 culminating with Horus as the 10th. Now, Horus is the completed tree of life. Horus becomes one with Ra, and Atum is satisfied with this completion. Adam has self-created. The 4 children of Geb and Nut then become the 4 elements of the human being. Solids as carbon, liquid as water and blood, air we breathe, and radiant heat we give off, as well as the mineral-based psyche, emotion, logic, intuition, and senses, or Isis, Osiris, Nephthys, and Set. Now, those are all the elements, you know, how they relate to her. Created the universe and breathed consciousness into it. The universe is a construct. It is the vessel for consciousness. You like that? How about, what's up, dude? Yawa? How do I say? You identify as a Teletubby, right? The human psyche holds a great secret. It is that it is an embodiment of the 3 and 4th conditions of reality. Notice logic, senses, and emotions can be associated with the physical nature of a person, leaving intuition as the odd one out, the 4th condition. Since the demiurge is the 4th condition of reality, intuition can be likened to spirit, just as the demiurge is fashioned from God's spirit in union with you. Hence, intuition is an aspect of your spirit and inner knowing. Emotion may also be associated with spirit, since compassion is a spiritual quality. However, its association with physical relationships and experience places it more in the zone of the physical body. In this sense, there are twice two issues to a person's psyche, as we find in the Egyptian myth with the separate identifications of 2 male and 2 female aspects. Horus, the offspring of Osiris and Isis, is the different one, just as Noah was different. You know how Noah was different in the story, how he was the light, you know, how he had red eyes and he flamed and he was different from everybody else and he scared him. Hi, Dud. Some core things you need to know: what is on the outside is also repeated on the inside, recursively, micro to macro. Yes, that's what it's all about. Mary wins. What's up, sweetheart? Yes, a fractal zoom Mandelbrot recursive algorithm is very simple. Yes, I agree with that. What's up, Dud? I'm glad you're here. Horus is the offspring of Isis, and Osiris is the different one, and just as Noah was different. These titles are, however, the westernized versions of their names. According to the myth of Heliopolis, Ra, the primal god of all things, was worried he would have his sovereignty overthrown if Nut gave birth to any children, because he knew she would birth a divine offspring. This is the same as the story of Jesus, how the Pharaoh or the emperor or whatever, whoever. Who was it that went to kill? I think it was the king went to kill all of the firstborn, right? Now this is the same as the story as that. Now it was worried about the sovereignty overthrown if Nut gave birth to any children, because he knew she would give birth to a divine offspring, Horus, which is the light. As a result, Ra prevented her from giving birth. In response, is that what's going on with all of the stuff in today's day and age? Is that what the rabbit holes are placed before us for? So we are prevented from giving birth to the light of the world, to the son of Ra. In response, the son of Ra, Thoth, was called upon to intervene and play draughts with the moon god Kenzu to win Nut her right to give birth. Thoth beat the moon god and won an extra 5 days to add to the year of 360 days, with which the moon lost some of its light. Allegorically, when the circle is complete, 360-degree circle, the fifth element is achieved. King David is the heart of the heart on the way to God, is the purified heart in the eye of God. Yes, right. And I think that's maybe what the chemtrails are about. I don't know, but I don't go down those chemtrail rabbit holes anymore. Right. Tinky Winky Dipsy Lala Po. Oh yeah. Ha ha ha! Big hug. Now this right here, the pyramid, is the foundation. It's the 4 points. Well, that's the triangle, the tree of life schematic right here. Now this tree of life is the point source, which is the singularity, right? The monad. And then it's just like how we have the seed, which is the point. Then we have the stem, which is the line. Then we have the branch, which is the formation, right? And then just like the cosmos, da 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 da. Yes. Okay, now allegorically, when the circle is complete, 360-degree circle, the fifth element is achieved. 5 extra days of process from clay to diamond. Now, that's everything in the cosmos is clay to diamond, because we are in a field of clay, or like, twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are, up above the sky so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Now, and the white light of illumination shines in the darkness of the underworld. The white light is the diamond. Is that not what we're experiencing today? Just like the moon that shines bright white in the darkness of the waters of noon, Duat. Thoth, or truth, is traditionally directly associated with the moon, and hence it is with the moon that Thoth plays draughts in a moment of singular realization from the dual game. The moon is also associated with Isis, since it is through the female that new life is birthed in conjunction with the lunar cycle. And that's why the woman, the human, gestates for 9 months and has her friend Flo, or Aunt Flo, comes every 28 days, the moon cycle. It's a lunar cycle, yada, yada, yada. That's the correspondence aspect of it all. Now, it is from the word thoth we derive the word thought, since it is thinking that takes time that produces thought in the individual. When I said the universe is shaped like a torus, yes, I remember that. Yes, I remember that, and I agreed with you. I totally agreed with you. I totally agree with you. 10 cycles of the moon, 280-day gestation. Nice. Yes, sacred. Of the 4 children of Nut, Seth was Eve, an evil god or disorder, chaos, and that's why the set of the sun, set game match, as opposed to his brother Osiris, who was a god of order and whose greatness earned him the title, King of the Kings. Osiris is the perfection of consciousness or completion, as opposed to being at the mercy of the duality of physical world. Personified by his evil brother Osiris and Set are thus the logical and sensual aspects of the human psyche, since the senses can be overly indulged, whereas logic, reasoning gains understanding that leads to salvation. Set becomes jealous of Osiris and had a coffin made, lined with the ebony and ivory, black and white of the pineal light in the underworld, as well as gold and silver. Silver and gold, silver and gold. All we want is silver and gold. That Christmas special, right? Pineal cycle, correct. Right. That's, the 33 vertebrae, the Kundalini experience, yada, yada, yada. That's the physical representation as as above, so below, our correspondence aspect. Seth becomes jealous of Osiris, coffin made, underworld, as silver and gold. The heart and mind are the keys to heaven, which is, the heart and mind. You could think of the heart is God, love, is the 7 kingdoms of the Lord, right? Nice. So is the planets. Nice. Don't gain the world and lose your soul. Wisdom is better than silver and gold. Nice, I like that. Same as your chakras. Right, 7 chakras. There you go. There's another 7. Correct. And the moon and the sun are the keys to heaven. Yeah, the female, male. Yes, and that's how all of this is interrelated and told to us over and over and over. It's like, it's actually 13 cycles a year, correct? 13 cycles a year, yes, and that's why the 13 is a sacred number as well. Okay, now, the heart and mind, keys to heaven, which he offered to anyone who would fit perfectly inside it, just like the shoe for Cinderella, right? When she lost her shoe, and if the shoe fit, she wore it, right? When Osiris entered the coffin, the lid was shut, sealed with molten lead, and dumped into the Nile River to sink. However, it made its way down the Nile as an ark carried out to sea, to be lost forever with the now dead king inside. This is a dual allegory for the containment of consciousness in the evil of the physical body. Now, that's why the mirror of evil is live, and the mirror of lived is devil. And that's the physical body, the physical creation, right? Yes, this is a recessive nature of creation. And that's, the recycling of our conscious, of our ineffable energy or our eternal selves is, in fact, the reason. Has anyone noticed a triangle the planets are forming? No, I haven't. I'll take a look at that. Okay, now, when Osiris entered the coffin, the lid was shut, the ark carried out to sea. This is a dual allegory for the containment of consciousness in evil of the physical body, set adrift in the ocean of manifest reality, and references to the waters of noon, in which Osiris is now a fish afloat in its final state. The underworld gaining the keys to heaven is association with the black and white of the underworld event. His body is the ark, the microcosm of the macrocosm, and his pineal light is Noah, or Thoth, on his boat as it sails through the open sea of chaos. From here, Osiris will become embedded in a tree and generate life as the central pillar of the palace of the king. This is where Yeah, say 10. Very good. Very good. Now, the we could dice up word salads all day, but the plain simple fact of it all is to point us to what we're talking about here, and that's why there's a boat buried next to the pyramid. That's why the arc of once you figure out how nature works, you will see what that's same. We are nearing end times, and I have seen how it will end and what we need to do. What we need to do is figure out how to know thyself. The coffin washed up on the shores of the Phoenicia near the city of Byblos, embedding itself inside a tamarisk tree, whose magnificence subsequently grew to great fame. The king of Phoenicia decided to cut the tree down and have it as a pillar in pride of place at his palace, without knowing Osiris was buried inside. This allegory refers to the consciousness as it finds its center to become the central pillar at the palace of the king, the Atman. All right, see you later, Deborah. When Isis' wife, sister of Osiris, found him in the tree at the palace of the king, she took the coffin containing Osiris and sailed back to Egypt, where she hid it in the marshes of the Nile Delta. Osiris, in fact, is the Great Pyramid itself, at the root of the delta. As we will see, Set was hunting in the area at the time and found the coffin, at which point he tore the body of Osiris into 14 or 15 pieces, scattering them across the land of Egypt. 14 is the number of the parts of the human body without the distinguishing phallus of the male. The foot, shin, and thigh on either side make 6 parts. The hand, forearm, and upper arm on either side also make 6. The remaining part, or the torso and the head, making 14 in all. Hence, females have 14 parts, while males have 15 parts. Since they have a phallus, since the pyramid texts in Utterance 600 states clearly that the Great Pyramid itself is Osiris. This pyramid of king is Osiris. It is thus the Great Pyramid referenced as being the reeds of the Nile Delta. As Osiris himself, in relation to the 14 parts of a human body, the Great Pyramid also represents as the microcosm of the macrocosm. What about clitoris? Lost the wiener. You guys. Care to elaborate? Okela, son, what are you talking about? I'll send you the link, Max. The Kraken is the ocean above Japan. We all need to become enlightened. When some become enlightened, they gain access to knowledge of how everything works. And yes, I agree with that. Okay, now Isis had to find the pieces of her husband's body this time and bring them back together. Again, in unification using magic, a reference to magi, or wisdom, to make whole that which was separated. And this is an allegory for everything and everybody. The only piece she could not find was his phallus, since it had been eaten by a fish. A reference to being a fish in the great empty ocean of the abyss. And, just to point this out, this is where the maritime law and all of this maritime stuff comes from. Everybody likes to run down the road of maritime law because they try to rule us through this and that, but whatever. The only piece she could not find is the phallus, since it had been eaten by a fish. Now, Isis had to fashion an artificial phallus and magically bring her husband back to life, embalming his body from the period it would take to have sexual union and receive his seed. Their brief union at this point, in one version of the story, produces their son, Horus, which is the light, which is the cross, which is Jesus. In another version, Horus was already born before his father Osiris died. In either case, Horus is the living resurrection of his dead father, and all pharaohs after him would thus be in the living, are considered a Horus, or living god, while they ruled. They were considered to have a divine right to rule, in that they too had defeated the evil of Set in themselves. The dual, disintegrated nature of the psyche, ruled by the physical senses from the resurrection of the divine union. And hence the process that began with Nun, Ra, and Atum finds its completion in Osiris, Isis, and Horus. The consonants of Horus are HRS, where H is behold, R is head, and S is crown. In Hebrew, hence Horus is the context of the formalized Hebrew language, means behold, head, crown. Behold the crown of the head. If Horus is the final risen one, this makes sense as the risen diamond light of divine mother in the head. In death, all pharaohs would be mummified in association with Osiris, who was bandaged by Isis to make his whole body like a phallus, so he could ejaculate his soul, set the way for all to follow. By his subsequent resurrection into immortality, Egyptian pharaohs then were not saying they hoped to gain immortality after they died. They were saying they had already become immortal in life by experiencing divine union, and were commemorating the fact in their death as if replicating Osiris, to celebrate the fact that they never need to come back to mortal life, because this is their last physical death. They had graduated from the physical realm and had been handed over to God, the perfection of unity, by Divine Mother, who conceived them in her duality. Their sarcophagi were completely wrapped in the wings of Horus, denoting they had flown to singularity already. The same distinction belongs to the wastaff, as a thing already attained by the individual and held out on show for all to see, proof of fact. Like Osiris, the arms of the pharaoh's sarcophagus are shown crossed over the heart, depicting the focus of divine union at the center of being. It is the state of grace whose foundation is compassion, associated with the heart at the center of the ark. The garb of Osiris is white as the lamb, an innocence of truth. He has been washed white by the blood of the lamb. His symbols are the crook and the merciful shepherd, who has a heart of gold and thus compassion for his flock, and the flail representing the severity of the truth that allowed him to attain wisdom. Horizon, Horus zone, correct. Sperm is the meteorite. I heard we need 144,000 enlightened at least. The 144, I wanted to do a podcast with Phil on that and find out what, get to the gist of the 144 and what that means. I think it's one short, it's 9. It comes back to the 9 thing. The flail has 3 stems denoting complete understanding of truth, just as the tree of life has 3 columns in its completeness. Together, these 2 symbols are crossed over the heart in union, defining the singular point of severity and merciful in perfected union. Osiris is androgynous and thus represents all of humanity as the microcosmic culmination of the macrocosmic natural world and the physical universe that exists in the cosmic oceanic womb of space. That is the waters of Nun. In association with Osiris in death, then the pharaoh's death mask was the Nemes headdress, showing thin, parallel golden rays emanating from the pharaoh's golden face in recognition of the flesh of the gods, through the solar metaphor of the golden sun of Ra. As such, the pharaoh's face represents the pineal cloud itself, while their headdress shows the beams of light emanating from the lion's head. Now the demiurge has appeared in his psyche. There are distinct gaps between each ray, culminating at the back of the head in a gathered form that looks like a fibrous bundle of hair. That's like the Gordian knot, you know, or ponytail, like the fibrous bundles of the crisscross that the pineal cloud surface. Furthermore, the pharaoh's neck is projected up out of his collar from a perfectly circular hole, worn at the shoulders just as the beams from the cloud emerge from perfect circular holes. In this context, the pharaoh's body becomes the pineal cloud itself, such that his neck is a beam of light with his mouth, with the mouth of their face giving the gift of truth or word of God. At the end of the beams denoted symbolically by the giving hands of the Aten. The risen person is, after all, a professor and speaker of wisdom, or a thoth, just as a priest is supposed to be in the Christian religion. The other major correspondences associated with the face of the pharaoh's death mask is the beard. Why was it so prominent and emphasized? Visually, the beard has a literal association with a phallus in sexual allegory to pineal initiation, since you are ejaculated into the womb of the brain as you were a sperm ejected from the top of the phallic spine. When you fly up as if you were a magic bird, you see the face of God as a cloud with beams projecting out of it, like the pharaoh's face above the beard. Moreover, the beard's tightly knotted. Hang on, turning the page. I'm not growing a beard, by the way, because I want to become a phallus. Well, in the end, I want to become a phallus, but you get what I'm saying. Braided surface features also suggest the fine bundles of braided hair like strands making up the surface of the cloud. Hence, the pharaoh's death mask was surrounded by, including the collar and neck and beard, direct Did I just read that? Oh, no. Like strands making up, Pharaoh's death mask with the surrounding Neme's headdress, including the collar and neck and the beard, seemed to be a direct representation of the pineal light with its beams, revealed through symbolic association with the immortal golden sun as the human psyche. Using the natural world as a metaphor makes sense, since it is the literal manifestation from the singular truth as the divine or cosmic order known as Ma'at. During the time of Old Kingdom, pharaohs would be buried, surrounded with texts and symbolic imagery, apparently representing their journey to immortality of the afterlife. In the early Egyptian dynasties, there were pyramid texts and are some of the oldest known religious writings in the world. They are said to be a series of spells apparently designed to help deceased pharaoh have the magical power necessary to become immortal in afterlife. Now, this is the Egyptians. They were not hell bent on death. They were hell bent on representing or having a party, as if you will, celebrating the fact that they achieved what they achieved in their life, which is eternal life, everlasting life. John 3:16. For he who shall believeth in God, for God so loved the world, for he who shall believeth in him shall not perish but have everlasting life. Right? Long hair receives prana energy from the universe, like vril hair down. Yes, my hair has reached my mid back since I was 11. Long hair on men might be coming back in. The beard of phallus is so close to the pie hole. Right. It's in the Vedas, Ramayanas, and also Bringers of the Dawn about Pleiadians. But I'll never, we read that. Straight edge people have short hair. I have short hair. I have short hair because, I don't want to have to comb it. I'm lazy, I guess. By the time of the New Kingdom, the pyramid text had become magic scroll, called the Book of the Dead, or the Book of that which is in the Duat, or the Book of Coming Forth by Day, a reference to achieving immortality in life, or day, as opposed to night, of death. Now, the word day is means God, means heaven. Night means void of spirit, in the etymological sense. They lost their way over time because they taught this no using writing instead of nature. This is how the knowledge was lost to them. The knowledge was lost. Right. Now, the knowledge was lost. In my opinion, it was Akhenaten that started the separation from that which is within to that, to venerate that which is without. He was the first pharaoh to go against the Ennead, to say that all is the Aten and worship the sun. You know what I mean? But yeah, guys, I've been going on. We'll carry this on next time. I'll keep my page here and we'll go on with this because it's very important that we make the connection here to all that is, Signs everywhere, signs blocking up the scenery, changing my mind. Do this, don't do that. Can't you see the signs? Signs everywhere, signs blocking up the scenery. Tesla. Who was that? Blocking up the scenery, breaking my mind. Do this, don't do that. Can't you read the signs? But hey, guys. Love, peace, chicken, grease. Mwah. Love you too, Crystal. Thank you, sweetheart. Tesla. Yeah, Tesla. I love that group. Don't wear masks, breathing in CO2. I love it. I love it. Nice. I didn't know that, Yoga. I never even made that connection. But yeah, I'm gonna have I don't know, a guest here soon. I was taking a little hiatus for several reasons. But yeah, much love, peace, and chicken grease, guys. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Mary. Thank you, Pete Turtle. Thank you, Gary. You guys are my you guys are my everything. You're my my pillars. You guys help me every day in ways you'll never know. Smoking G Sharp, thank you for joining us. I love all you guys. Buddha, Yoga, Crystal, Gary, Mary, P Turtle, any Piccolo Sun, anytime, anywhere, any place. Just be love. Pay it forward, love it forward. Live within, love without. You know what I mean? You are the wind beneath my wings. What's up, Spartan? Glad you're here too, brother. Yes, I won't forget. Everybody click that link and look at the triangles that the planets are making as of late. Thanks, Doc. All right, guys. Much love. Thanks. I like that, Gary. Love on purpose, and the universe will